Hey everyone, just coming on here to answer a question that somebody asked me. I decided to make a video about it because I get this question a lot. The question is, what is the DS? Basically, the DS, in layman's terms, is a sleeve with malabsorption. But it's actually much more complicated than that. So more detail on what the DS is. Showing you a picture, and now I'll explain the picture. You basically get a sleeve for your stomach. This is a malabsorptive and restrictive procedure. So the restrictive part of the procedure is the sleeve, where they take out 70% of your stomach. My surgeon said my stomach was from here to here, so I had a lot to take out. I was left with a 2 to 3 ounce stomach. Obviously, it stretches over time, so I could eat more than I could, just in the beginning because everything's swollen. In the beginning, I could only eat about like a tablespoon of food at a time. It's ridiculous. But now I can eat 3 ounces of steak sometimes. Sometimes more if I exercise, obviously. But anyways, the pylorus is intact. So for you RNYers out there that know what that means, we don't have dumping because we have a normal functioning stomach. It just processes the food like it normally does through the stomach. They take out the part that has the ghrelin, so a lot of people, one of the unfortunate ones that didn't experience this, most people, never get hungry. They have to, set a reminder to eat, basically. Also, as far as eating, DSers can graze all day and not have, gaining issues. As long as it's, protein and stuff you should be eating and not a bunch of bad carbs or something. But basically right now I eat every 1.5 to 2 hours some kind of protein, and then by the end of the day, if I'm still hungry, I might have popcorn or something, or salad. But I make sure to get my protein in first. As for the malabsorptive part, this is where it gets tricky. But for a DSer, most of the food doesn't actually get absorbed from most of the small intestine. Only the last part of it is where it gets absorbed, because that's where it mixes with the digestive juices and everything. So for a long time you don't absorb what you eat until that last section of it, and that's called the common channel. It varies from surgeon to surgeon how much of a common channel they give you. My surgeon, the general rule is that they also not only do they remove this part of the stomach and reroute your intestines, but they also take out your appendix and gallbladder. They don't want you getting stones, so they take it out, but mine was already out. And they also took out my appendix. There's also a metabolic effect with the DS. There's a 99% cure of type 2 diabetes with the DS, and I'm one of them. It's one person I'm thinking of. I don't remember how many times a day she was on insulin, but she walked out of there on nothing. It was amazing. I chose this procedures to get rid of all the comorbidities I had, because I was pretty sick last December. But I'm happy to say, I'm here, and most, if not all, of my comorbidities have been resolved. Even some I didn't think would be resolved have been resolved. Like, I didn't know it was a comorbidity, and the one in particular I'm talking about is my asthma. I have had asthma since I was 11 or 12, which I thought, that's just a family thing. My dad had asthma, family members have asthma, that's why I have asthma. Well, I guess not. Because right now, I'm off every asthma medication. I was on 2 pills for it and 2 to 3 inhalers. and I was still having trouble breathing, and I'm on none of that now. So that's my selling point. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, so the absorption rates for the DS, we only absorb 20% of the fat that we eat. So we basically, in what a normal person would see me eat, they would think, oh, they're eating a high fat diet. But when you think about it, if I take in 100 grams of fat a day, I'd only be absorbing 20%. So in a normal person, if they're eating 20 grams of fat a day, that's considered a low fat diet. So for a de-esser, 100 grams of fat a day is actually a low fat diet. I've noticed that basically I get constipated if I don't eat enough fat, so that keeps me, maintaining that amount of fat. But everybody's different. As for protein, it varies from surgeon to surgeon. A lot of people absorb 60% protein, but my surgeon told me specifically to only count half the protein I eat. So I do have to take in quite a lot more protein than most people with other surgeries. Right now I'm aiming for 120 grams of protein a day, so that if I absorb what I should be absorbing, that's about 60 grams of protein a day. If I exercise, I should be intaking more, so that I don't lose a lot of muscle mass, because with these it's common to lose muscle mass, so you gotta be proactive about it, get your protein in, and lift some weights. As for carbohydrates, we only absorb 60% of complex carbs. As for simple carbs, we absorb 100%. So if we eat something naughty, it's gonna, we're gonna absorb it, all of it. Hello, Squirt. We do. I'm trying to talk, Squirt. We do have a more stricter vitamin regimen than with any of the other surgeries, just because of our moderate malabsorption issues. The DS is the surgery out of the big four that has the most malabsorption, basically. So we have to get labs drawn a lot, and it's recommended to get, a bone scan once a year, or more often if your labs show up something. This malabsorption that we have, and the fact that we only absorb 20% fat, we have to take all dry vitamins. What this means is basically anything in oil we won't absorb. So like those fish oils or E's that are in the oil, those aren't good for us. We have to special order dry form, or if you're lucky enough to find it at Vitamin Shop or somewhere, more power to you. I haven't been able to. That's just me. So the basic diet regimen for DS, or I hate using that word diet, but basically what you want to eat, obviously after you can eat normal kind of food, is high protein, high fat, and low carb. Some people do 20 grams carbs a day, others 50, some 100 or less. So it really depends person to person on what you decide. With foods, it's just trial and error, as with anything, any other surgery. But so far I like it a lot. I feel like it's the closest to normal, or what I would consider normal eating, as I can. And the fact that I can eat, normal type of food and be losing weight, that's even better. Bacon's really good for us because, well, the brand I get is 4 grams of fat, 4 grams of protein. And if I have several pieces of that, you know, it adds up. And like I said on the malabsorption rates, that's really good. There's lots of DS recipes on the internet. If you want some, I can email you. Just let me know, and I will send it to you. 2 weeks out of surgery, the thing that I ate that helped me get in the protein the most was egg drop soup. At that point, I could eat, you know, pureed or soft foods, and we were in a hotel at that time and got some Chinese takeout, egg drop soup. Tried that. You can add a little bit of protein powder if you want more protein in it. I did a little bit at first, but then it made it kind of milky, and I didn't like that. The taste was just But we had some cheap protein powder because my husband got one that I probably wouldn't have bought, but that's what we had in the hotel. And you know, things other people eat: cottage cheese, yogurt. You know, like I said before, it's just trial and error. I had a lot of Jello, and obviously at that time, fluids was the biggest worry then. So that's what I was focusing on. The general rule for protein with the DS is 30 grams by day 30, 60 grams by day 60, 90 grams by day 90. But you want to be getting at least 100 grams of protein, you know, after that 3 months, at least. More if you exercise. And after surgery, I'm not gonna lie, I was in a lot of pain, and it's gonna be like that for a while. I couldn't even exercise until about 3 months because they wanted everything healed before I, you know, basically moved my stomach around. The best advice I've been giving on that, or been given on that, is, you know, this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. You know, take it slow, do what you can, listen to your body. You know, some days you want to just give it your all and do, you know, some advanced type exercises, but you learn quickly that that may not be for you. Know your limits, listen to your body, but don't, you know, obviously don't be afraid to push past, but make sure you're ready for it. Because you don't want to, you know, you don't want to injure yourself, because then that'll make it worse.